Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is presenting Pet Psychic AMINAH. I would love to present her, but she's not here as yet, so we'll wait a few minutes for her. One thing I just want to share with our audience is that it's been quite a journey here for me personally. I don't know about you, but I really have changed the way that I look at all of the creatures in this world and how we actually coexist together. I've shared numerous times that I've been afraid of all kinds of things, snakes, spiders, reptiles, and not that I'm not still afraid in air quotes, but I have this renewed respect. Respect is definitely the word. And I have to say that I've really think a lot of it has to do with what I've learned from AMINAH and how she shared about coexisting and sustainability and why every creature has a right to be here. So I'd love for you to take that in and think about your own life and how you feel when it comes to certain things that you're afraid of. Is there a way that you could look at it differently and maybe whatever it is you're afraid of, actually walk through that, walk to that, embrace that, and see what actually comes up for you? That's what I've been doing in my life. And I feel, especially since I started this platform, I've got all kinds of opportunities to look at things in a different perspective from someone else's shoes, and also to be living with an open heart as opposed to judging or coming from an ego perspective. So we're going to take a break, and hopefully AMINAH will be with us afterwards. But we're going to watch a few clips today, probably 2 or 3, and they all have special meaning. It might be a singer-songwriter who's been a guest here before, or could be someone that has a special message for us. So let's start off with Laser Girl. If you're not familiar with her, please get to know her music, her work. She's actually over on Instagram as well. You can follow her. And this is a beautiful piece. It's called Warrior. Thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show continues presenting Pet Psychic AMINAH. And I'm thrilled to announce that I can now present her. Let's bring her out. Hi there. How are you? It's nice to see you. I was just singing your praises before the show started.
There we go. Now, or something.
Yes, you're cutting in and out, I think.
There we go. I
There
think
you
I got
go.
you down to one voice.
Okay. We don't want to hear more than one of me in your head. That is for sure.
Yeah, I already got enough people in my head. You have no idea. It's like, okay, who's talking now? How are you, wonderful woman?
Oh, thanks. I'm doing really well. And how are you? Happy Mother's Day to be.
Didn't even think of that. Yes. Thank
Yes,
you.
coming up soon.
You too, mama of 3 puppies. Doesn't matter
Yes.
if they're there or not. It still mattered. You were a wonderful mom. All the times we've talked about all that love and those wonderful pictures. So
Well, thank you. I
get
appreciate it. And Amina, we have new people joining us every day. As you know, we have new radio stations that we are on as well. So I'm going to spotlight you. And if you can share with our audience a little bit about your background, you do more than just work with people as a pet psychic. So tell everyone how you can help them.
as best I can is the short answer, and my talents and my God-given gifts are multitudes. The first is I have always heard the animals. I've always heard nature. I've always talked to the trees and the plants. And when I was small, I just thought I was quirky, and being a fifth child was just my unique ability. But they talk back, and I have always spoken in the first person, at least with my own children and that type of stuff. So they hear me always say, "Didn't you hear what the cat said? Blah blah blah." And never goes, "No, mom, we don't hear that." So I also backed all of the natural gifts I have with training and college. I am an animal science major. I have worked in wildlife um, recovery and in a wildlife sanctuary for over 15 or 20 years, depending on which sanctuary I was at. I've handled everything from snakes to wolves and many things in between, and know how to hold a hedgehog and not have him poke me back. These are the things that I got to know these animals on a personal basis, if I could, and understand not only what you learn in books and working in a vet clinic, all the medical side, so I can give you advice about, yeah, it's time to see a specialist like a veterinarian, and it's time to get yourself a trainer. I work all over the world. I have clients all over the world because all we need is a connection, phone. That's the easiest way. We can do Zoom and that type of stuff. And it's very easy for me to communicate with people. I have a very, I think, strange connection with people who have died. Animals are a little bit tougher just because their communication style is more physical, and not just that I see, but in the way they twitch their ears. If you have had pets, you know that wag of the tail and or the tip of an ear or any of that. That's body language. A horse doesn't just wiggle flies off. They also stamp their feet and do many other things. So I can help with all of that. Is it the time to say goodbye? Is it end of life? Is it quality of life? These are things I can answer for you and do the best I can, and I'll be honest with you and tell you what is needed and where you needed to be. Have I recommended people rehouse pets? Yes, when it was best for the pet and then therefore the family. But also, is it time to see a vet? Is it time to get a trainer on the ground with you and that type of stuff, hands one-on-one, because that's your learning style. I hope I can help with all of that. And if I can't, I will find somebody and or give you as much tips as I can for you to find a different kind of specialist, because I'm not for everybody and everybody's not for me, but I will at least try and help you where I find you at. So thank you so much, Dr. JACALYN.
Thank you so much, Amina. I appreciate that. And please do reach out to her. Her contact information is here. Her website is bridgingworlds.us, and also the same name, Bridging Worlds, on Facebook. Well, we've got a friend backstage, and I'd love to have you do an introduction for her.
I've been very fortunate when I was in Southern California working with wildlife and ex-Hollywood stars that had manes and tails and medical research animals specifically chimpanzees. I didn't work with them, but I was around them a lot. And I came up here back to the Bay Area in California, and I knew I needed a metaphysical family. Well, this young woman, Corky Whitacre, is one of those first people that I met in a church, and it's a metaphysical church, yes, but it's a non-denominational, come as you are, we'll help you and we'll learn and that type of stuff. I just finished a talk on Ramadan, and I have done that every year for them, being Muslim and experiencing that. Corky has helped me through some painful medical issues with hypnotherapy, which is really hard for me as a control person to kind of quiet the mind and that kind of stuff. And she and I just are coming up with some really, really fun things to come forward and work with a meeting we had just a few days ago. So I'm really excited to invite Corky on and have her here with us I think she's on the first Friday of every month. And please help me welcome Corky Whitacre.
Welcome to the show, Reverend Corky. Nice to see you.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, good evening.
Wherever you are.
Wherever you are, for sure. What have you been up to since we saw you last, Reverend?
Oh my gosh. I'm at church. The guy that's been working with the Zoom meeting and producing all that is going to be taking some time off. So I've been training on that aspect of, I used to do the recording, with the camcorder, and then the Zoom thing started, and he's much more technical with that kind of stuff, but he's teaching me how to do it so that he can go on about his life and have his Sundays available to go hiking, since it's that kind of weather around here. And so that's pretty exciting, and just trying to keep two churches running and and a life outside.
A what?
And a business, and and one of the churches I manage the office, and now I get to switch jobs and start with the multimedia, and so that's going to dovetail with the Zoom stuff, and now I get to learn how to do stuff on Facebook and Reddit, and I don't even know what all, but I will soon.
Reverend Corky, thanks for sharing that. I was just reading an article, I think it was yesterday, about the whole, how the pandemic has impacted people physically going to religious ceremonies, events, weekly gatherings. What are you finding in terms of people coming back and being there?
Well, we lost our center, for one thing, and so that really changed our way of business, because we had a very active center, and events every evening, just sometimes 2 or 3 events a day, and that changed. Then we got a room in a community center, and so we have it for 2 hours, and that's it, 1 day a week on Sunday. So it's really changed the dynamics. And like last week, we had 20 people in the room and 10 people on Zoom. And so since the particular center that we go to, you have to be vaccinated, so that there's a percentage of those people that would be there, but they're not vaccinated yet, so they can't come, and that's unfortunate. And some of them are on Zoom, and some of them just watch the Zoom later on during the week. And so we're really looking forward to being able to remove our masks and not have to show our vaccination cards, and get our church back together. Right now we can't have our choir, so we haven't had a choir for 3 years. Well, 2 years, and and this year. So that's something. And then on Zoom, of course, if you can't sing anything that's recorded without permission of the artist or the author. So we used to sing, and every Sunday, several songs, but we can't do that now. So it's a challenge. It's been a challenge, and we would always have a community time afterwards where people could have coffee, we'll serve food, it was, just a very generous kind of, let's just get together, sit down and talk for hours, and just have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. But now it's get in, get set up, have the service, get out, clean up, get out. It's like, well, okay, we'll do that because that's what we have to do right now. And so it's not as much fun, but it's it's
It's reality.
it's only 2 hours a Sunday instead of all Sunday, so
Yes.
I'm sure
Well,
there's something good in that.
thank you for the transparency and for your candor there. I'd like to take that a step further. The topic for today that I selected was integrity and what does it mean to have integrity. And when what you described, people are used to going to the center and seeing friends and singing and praying and communing, and now that's totally changed. And I'm sure it's not just there, it's probably all across the world, and people are looking within and they're looking for direction. So I'd love for you to just share a little bit about what is integrity and what does it mean to have it and how do we get it?
Well, to me, integrity is keeping your word and your bond. It's like a bond, and it's if you use it in the sense of self-esteem, or you use it in a sense of hypnosis, it's like, how many times have you promised something to yourself and not kept that promise? I mean, when I was drinking, I mean, it was like almost a daily activity just to say, I promise I won't, and then a couple hours later, I was. And so it's very important to be able to trust what yourself, and what people are telling you what they're going to do, and then are they going to do it? If it has to do with how you feel about being honest and preparing to approach people in a very honest way. I say I'd rather be happy than right. And so and of course I always have an opinion. So there's times to be in my integrity, I have to just shut up and listen. And so, but my peace of mind, I become more disturbed by arguing than I do by proving that I'm right. And so I would by far rather let somebody speak their mind and be a sounding board for them, and without giving my opinion or anything. And then, so then I keep my peace, they have their peace, and then I don't have to worry about getting angry or being upset. And so integrity is a 24/7 opportunity and promise that you will, the person you have decided to be, that you will be that person, that person will show up. And even if somebody is saying something that you don't believe in, if they believe in it, they have that right to believe that. So and it isn't being mousy, and it isn't being duplicitous, or it isn't being unauthentic. It's being, my authenticity is that you have an opinion and you have every right to that opinion. It may be the wrong opinion, but that's not for me to say. That's, your truth is your truth. And so I'm not very challenging when it comes to people and what they feel. It's like, you have every right to be that.
And thanks for sharing that.
Let me elaborate something that Corky has said. That, Corky, I want you just to acknowledge is what the Center for Creative Living does, and what she and Dottie as those leaders do, is they have accepted, and I've seen this in practice personally, every church affiliation, Jewish, Muslim, Catholic, Protestant, green, black, white, whatever flavor person you are, they're all respected because they're truly about community and they're practicing what they preach.
Yeah, and we really encourage people to if they're Buddhist, come and speak to us.
Yeah.
Share yourself with us. Let us know who you are and what Buddhism is, and share that, because I'm sure there's aspects of it that people in our congregation would be thrilled to learn about, and maybe even begin a practice in Zen meditation or whatever it is. And so we really welcome people of different faiths and people of that are challenged in different ways. So it's y'all come, let's learn together.
And Reverend Corky, it sounds like this is an incredible opportunity, since you are doing things virtually, that people from around the world can join.
Right. We have people that tune in, not necessarily at 11 o'clock on Sunday, but throughout the week from all around the world that watch our services. That's true.
That's really important.
You're right.
I have a question for you, because this actually came up very recently. Someone told me they were going to do something, and they told me, and it's not someone I know, it's actually business. And they told me not once, but they told me twice they were going to do it. And I spoke to another person, a third person who actually knows the second person. And the third person said, well, that's not how it's done in America, in where we live. That's how it's done in your country, but it's not how it's done in our country. And I thought about that, and I said, upon reflection, I don't think it has to do with culture. It has to do with integrity. If you say you're going to do something, it shouldn't matter where you live. You committed to doing something not once, but twice. And he didn't agree with me. So what are your thoughts on that?
Wow, that's interesting. Well, it.
Can I jump in here, Corky? Because I have family who's from the Middle East, and I have spent time in Saudi Arabia and many other places, and Europe and France and Iran. So I've been a few more unusual places for most Americans that have been there. And I've been there for months at a time. So I wasn't just there. And I have family there that are married into my life. It is very different. In the Persian culture specifically, they have something called taro. And it is all what you just said. I would love to do that for you. I can't wait to do that for you. And then nothing happens. So it's a genuine offer. It is not a genuine offer, but it doesn't really necessarily mean it'll ever get done. And it's a cultural thing. And what I have found, having exchange students, my mom had exchange students, teachers that would come into our home all year round and all the time. And my mother kept in touch with all of them. So it was very interesting for something as simple as saying to one of the girls, hey, she brought her niece. So it was a teacher and her niece. And we were like, hey, let's go swimming. And my dad almost fell over and died when she came out in the postage stamp bathing suit. But it was cultural. It was how they dressed in Finland, or where she was from, I believe. So he didn't ask her to change. He didn't ask her to do anything. He just decided to walk the other direction and not go with the swimming. I've seen it in the cultures where we just don't understand each other, and it's not wrong, but we need to ask. So what does this mean? So what do you do? So if you have something like taro, which is what JACALYN you're describing, that they offer, and nothing happens. What I learned living in the community was plan on doing it myself, or really sitting down and saying, this is really important. We need to do it tomorrow. We need to do it today. I had to come up with other tools to get past that assumption that, oh yeah, I'll do it, because it's so ingrained in the way they communicate.
Well, yeah, I think it's a cultural thing rather than, I agree with you, because there's nothing in your, that you're born with,
right?
That would necessarily dictate that without the training of, you know, if you're trained to be honest and that your handshake is your honor, you know, is your word, is your, you know, it's that then that's what you'll believe and that's what you'll head for. And if you and yeah, so I'm afraid it is a cultural thing.
Well, this is
I'm
kind of
think
a different example. This is where you and I agree to do business. And so I'm going to do this and you're going to do that. So if I'm doing this and you're not doing that, how will I trust you? Why will I want to work with you? And if that is part of your culture, then I need to know that up front. But how would I know that? So that's my point, that when it comes to integrity and trust, it's, to me, it seems, as we're all one as humanity, if we say we're going to do something, unless something comes up and then we share why I changed my mind or this happened. So that's what I'm saying, that to me, I feel like that integrity and trust have to be protected regardless of who you are or where you're from.
And I
you know,
agree with
I have
you
a feeling it's a very
completely.
American thing. I think
You
Yeah,
it's
do.
and
very
Corky, I
American.
have to agree with you. What I did, Dr. Jacqueline, was because my word is my bond, whatever you want to call it. If I say I'm going to go, I'm going to. And I work in the professional world like you do. And now then you put money and career and all the work that, for example, your platform has. And what I found is I really had to sit them down probably 3 times. First time, introduce the concept. Second time, remind them and give more detail. Third time, saying, you know, I just really can't work this way because I depend on this and this and this. And if you'll see in those 3 steps, and of course they'll take more, but these 3 steps are the really, really big ones, is that you're educating them and bringing them around to knowledge and a work ethic and a way to move through the world, if not move through commitments, a little differently. And like everything, I didn't learn to ride the bike the first time. I fell. I hit a few people, all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
And I learned to ride all from the beginning. No, I actually did. I learned to ride a bike one time in a campground, ran right into a lady hiking on the street. It's like, my brother, come on, help me here. Anyways,
So
I
wait, I
literally,
want to interject. So let's say it is an American thing. What
yeah,
does integrity look like in other cultures then? If it's not keeping your word, what is it?
every country is going to be different. So in the Asian community, I'm not Asian. I've only had a limited amount, but I had a best friend. I literally lived with her family for a while, who came from China. And their integrity was completely different than mine. They spoke in a very blunt way that I felt like, oh, that was a little harsh, you know, and I was 12 when that friendship started. But you know what I got? I got used to going, oh, that's integrity. For them, it was, let me give you a pedestrian example. It was, you pick up your plate and you bring it to the sink. There weren't dishwashers in those, that was a person. And you bring it to the sink. That's integrity. If you say, and a lot of us are this way, if you say, I'm going to be at here on 12 o'clock p.m. with the car and a full gas tank because we've got to drive here, and then you don't either show up or have gas or have the car, then that's the educational moment. This is the hard part of every relationship, is sharing with somebody without anger, without retribution, because we get really frustrated. My problem had always been is I wait too long. I keep thinking it's going to get better. I keep thinking it's going to get better. And I'm like, no, they can't read my mind. Thank God. Even in the psychic world, we don't like it. Okay. But I owe it to the relationship, professional or otherwise, especially professional, because friends will forgive a lot of things and then move on. But when you're dealing with the type of platform that you put heart and soul, I'm going to use that as an example, then it behooves you guys to sit down and say, no, this is what I need you to do. There's not a gray line here. This is black and white. This is what I must have. This is what I need to do. For example, you know, the links you give us and the guidance you give us on, this is your background, this is your this, this is this. And I'm learning every day how I can improve on what I know you're killing yourself to put on this amazing shows and these professional platforms. But that's me. And I've done professional things. If I was me 25 years ago, maybe not. Maybe I wouldn't have ever been on Zoom before. Maybe I'd never been on a camera before. I don't know that I have to hold still and let other people speak. And that comes up. So my encouragement for you and everybody listening is talk to the person. Just sit them down, get a cup of coffee, get a glass of orange juice. For me, it would be water. I love drinking water anytime. And just say, hey, I really want to have this relationship work out. This is what I need. This is where I feel like we could grow. This is what is a line in the sand for me. So I have guests that I will and won't invite because their topic is just too toxic for me to cover and or too personal. And that doesn't reflect the person. And I can say, this isn't about you. I just can't go where you need you to the conversation to go. And I wish you well.
Thank you. Reverend Corky, would you like to add?
Oh, I think she's right, because this kind of behavior is a learned behavior, and so it's up to your environment, because there's environmental, there's if things are nurture and nature kind of thing, and so the baby doesn't do things, they have their own time frame and their own way of doing things, and so it's not necessarily natural for them to be polite or do things in a timely manner. So that I would say is kind of the human nature of things.
And isn't it also the foundation of a relationship? There's an expression, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. So to me, I like to have things laid out in the beginning, and then if there's issues in the beginning, and you can't get them clarified because of cultural differences, there probably will be issues as you continue along. So there has to be some way to communicate effectively, or maybe it's a relationship that you just say, this is not going to be working out because we can't communicate.
Right. I see, and what I see this for you is a unfortunate learning opportunity. And, because it hasn't turned out the way you expected it to. But it's an opportunity for you to say, okay, so this is something I need to remember to ask in the future, or to determine in the future, and just be forewarned, be cautious, just say, hey, and how would you feel about this? And how are we going to mediate if we have a disagreement, and how should we these are going to be the rules. This is how things are going to set up. And if you don't follow the rules, then these are going to be the circumstances. And so it gives you an opportunity to be more clear in your communication with people, and so that you don't get hurt. So
right,
that you're in your integrity, because you have to be in your integrity. You can't be in somebody else's integrity. And if they think they're doing fine, then you will find a way to adjust so that you can be fine with it too. Either you're not going to work with them anymore, or you agree on how things are going to change, and say, then this is what I expect for you to do. And unfortunately, I think that's where you are on this, and it's heartbreaking when believe me, I've had my share of that, where you think somebody's going to help you, and they come in and they help you here and they help you there, and then all of a sudden they disappear, and it's like, what happened? Yeah. And
right,
then
there's no closure.
Right. And then you can either say, I'm never going to have that happen to me again. I'm going to close myself off so I don't allow people to hurt me. Or you're going to say, oh, that was interesting. And maybe next time I'll notice earlier in the relationship, what's going on. Or you'll never learn. Those are kind of, there's a gambit.
3 choices.
Yeah. Yeah. But
because we all tend to do that. And depending on people's motivation, It could cost you $1,000 or it could cost you your soul. And it's everything in between. So
Yeah.
for you,
Well,
it
for
could be
you,
a financial motivation of saying, okay, this is business and we can keep it that way. And then we can be friends, you know, some other place. Or, you know, you're not going to be friends with everybody. I've had clients that I dread when they call, but we get on a call and that's fine. And Corky's got this, and Dr. JACALYN, I'm sure you've had this. And I don't foster that relationship, but I understand that they communicate differently, and I have to change that if I'm going to have that small contact. But I don't actively grow that relationship because they're either not good for me, they're not healthy for me, and or the benefits don't outweigh the means of stress. If you are finding, let me give just a an example of what could. I'm not saying this is based on anybody that you know, but if you're putting in all the time to put these platforms together and you're doing all these graphics and you're getting all these, and global TV is growing, 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 and you have one show that is just not pulling its weight, regardless if it's a really popular topic. I don't know, you're the Ann Landers of the day. And if you all know who that is, then you're in the right place. But I think you would still have that conversation of saying, maybe it's time to end this. It's a great topic. It's a great thing. It's very popular, but it might be costing you your health and your mental acuity. Maybe that's a better choice.
Yeah, that's a great point. Thank you, Amina, for bringing that up. So,
because it's okay. And it's important for everybody to be okay with that.
Definitely. A topic I'd like to sort of close out the show with is, we're talking about integrity, and we're exploring the fact that integrity looks different in different parts of the world. So what role, Reverend Corky, does religion, or the lack thereof, play with integrity?
well, that I believe is you have to decide on well, okay, so people go to the religion to and read the sacred texts to see what whoever they're following, what they said about these different things. If you know, if you can trust somebody, if you're going to, you know, like the Ten Commandments, those are, if you can follow the Ten Commandments, then you know you're part of that particular tribe and follow the Ten Commandments, and then you're in your integrity. Of course, there's always the um, where you can argue about the fine details. You know, like divorce. Is divorce um, is that something that is forbidden in you know, if you have chosen your partner in life? Is this, and then you decide that you can't get along? I mean, can you just divorce him and then be with somebody else? Or, you know, there's, religion has a lot to say about that. And so it's the integrity would be, have you decided to align with that religion and stick with the rules? You know, it's following the rules. You said that you're saying, I believe in this religion. I want to follow this religion. I concur with the deity that I'm following, and I'm going to. And as long as you follow those rules, then you're staying in your integrity. But if you cheat on your taxes, if you know, cheat on your partner, if you don't pay your, give Caesar his due, you know, that if you don't follow the rules, even if nobody knows but you, it's still lying, and it's still, that's one of the top things you're not supposed to do.
All right, so I have a
You're
follow-up
not supposed to
question
do.
to that. The follow-up
And
question is, if you are acting out of integrity, if you're not in integrity, can you be forgiven through believing in whomever, whatever, and ask for forgiveness, and then once again be in integrity after taking ownership and responsibility for your lack of integrity?
yes, I believe so. I believe so. I think that if you truly do feel regret and feel sorry that you've done something, and that should be, that you should be, well, forgiven, or at least given another chance, because that seems like that's the Christian way. You know, the opportunity to do it right. And I think everybody should be given an opportunity to do it right, and to grow and to learn. You can't say, you know, as a juvenile, you stole a car, so you're going to be incarcerated for the rest of your life because you will never change. People do change. And then they say, well, they got religion, and so now they're preaching the good word or whatever, and it's and some people, it's their people have changed their mind, changed their way of being, and actually gone into that alignment with integrity. Because behavior is like a diamond. It's taken a long time, a lot of pressure, and a lot of heat. Like emotion and repetition to make that diamond. And so whatever your default behavior is, it can be changed, but it's going to it's going to take time, repetition, and pressure, strong emotions, to make sure that will build into that solid diamond behavior. But people can change, absolutely. Yes.
And this is sort of a rhetorical statement, but I think if it were absolutely possible, it could be validated, and we could speak to every person across the world to find out how much each and every one of us has changed during the pandemic as a result of the pandemic. I think it would be overwhelming, staggering.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
Yeah. So I love the fact that you shared this fabulous information about integrity, what it looks like, and how we can forgive and even learn to forgive ourselves and pick ourselves up again and start over. So thank you so much, Reverend Corky.
Hey, my pleasure. I'm always happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you. I'm going to spotlight you. Would you please share your contact information? And again, now that you have this, the platform on Zoom, anyone and everyone can join. So please just talk a little bit about that. Thank you.
Well, I have so if you're interested in joining us on Sunday for the church, if you would please send me your email address. I'll send you a copy of our weekly newsletter. Oh, I should put in what my save Corky, or you could go to the website and put it on there, and I will send you the newsletter, and it has all of our information on it, as far as oh, I guess I put that in the, okay, anyway, it has our meetup and our Facebook. The Center for Creative Living has its own Facebook. You can see our Zooms. We have hundreds of videos on our YouTube channel. The Center for Creative Living. It isn't the center; it's Center for Creative Living is our channel. Center for Creative Living is our Facebook, and we would love to have you join us. And we have, of course, on Facebook is Living Creatively at the Center. And so I did that one night in the middle of the night. It's like, oh, that's a fun name. Yeah. Anyways, it's
things we do at midnight.
Yeah. Anyways,
I was going to say, for people listening on the radio or they can't read the banner, your email address is safecorky. It's SAFECORKY @AOL.com. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much, Reverend. Nice to
Yeah,
have
please.
you.
Yeah, please send me a message, and I would love to send you our newsletter. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a beautiful weekend.
Absolutely. You all too. Happy Mother's Day, everybody.
Happy Mother's Day, everyone. AMINAH, I'm going to spotlight you and have you share your contact information, any announcements that you might have.
Well, thank you so much. The announcements is I'm on this absolutely fabulous platform. It's called US Global TV. And I would love you to join us every Friday, as I have so many exciting new guests that I've been interviewing this week. I ran into a woman who's currently in China, and she's usually used from the UK, and we're going to have her on, and I'll give you more details as the new guests come on. So please join us here, and of course, see the recordings. US Global TV has an amazing array of everything music and books, and I love having you. So my contact is bridgingworlds.us. Everything you want to know about me and my links, Facebook and everything, is Bridging Worlds, is on my Facebook page. I wanted to have one platform where just you can look up all kinds of things. YouTube, of course, we have all these wonderful videos. What can I help you with is one of the biggest questions. Most common question I get is, if it has to do with animals, living or past, I am able to help you. And if I cannot, I'm not all knowing, I will forward you on to somebody I think who can. Or I've yet to not have a referral that I can send you to. I am a trained trainer, so I can do a lot via the phone, video if you'd like. I do not charge extra for Zooms and videos. So please let me know how I can help you with your animals. And end of life is usually a easy or hard conversation to have with people, but I can help with that also. And is it time, or isn't time to go to the vet? Many questions like this, and I'd be glad to help you. Go to my website to see my costs and how my appointments work, bridgingworlds.us. Everything is there. And thank you, Dr. JACALYN, so much for giving us this time to let me share all my passion about honeybees and everything else, and Bob your spider and all of that wonderfulness. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Amin. I look forward to seeing you next week, and you have a beautiful weekend.
Absolutely. You too.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. It's the end of another fabulous broadcasting week. I say this week after week. I just shake my head and I can't believe all of the fabulous things that I have learned this week by having this platform and people coming from around the world and sharing their stories and their expertise. We have a few announcements before we close out. The first is that this week was really spectacular because I am thrilled to announce, if you haven't heard, that the second book that I published, which is a collaboration with 11 other authors, became an Amazon #1 new release within hours of being released. So this book, it's called, the title is Adversity to Awesome, True Life Stories of Inspiration from Survivors of Imprisonment, Addiction, Sexual Assault, and More. And I have the first chapter in the book. And then, as I mentioned, there are 11 other authors. So this is the second book that I have published within 11 months, both of them #1 Amazon new releases. So I'm just thrilled, and I hope that you will find value in the books. You can go over to Amazon and pick them up. And the next announcement I have is about some upcoming events. We just had our reunion event, which was 6 hours of live streaming. It was fantastic. We're going to be doing them 3 times a year, and it's an opportunity for you to promote your business, your service, your event, your brand. It's not an interview. It's strictly 15 minutes that you have to present. So if you're interested, I will share the link for that. The next one's coming up. I think it's September 18th. Okay, we have a new course coming up, which is The Power of Listening, Part 4, the transition, facing the shadows of ourself. What does this even mean? Many of us have lived or living in a world that's called a 3D world, where we're living and making decisions based on what other people are doing, based on competing with other people, based on our ego. And many of us are transitioning to a 5D world, which is a world where we lead with our heart, where we worry about each other and not just ourselves. What are we supposed to do in between? That's the transition. I will be hosting this course on the 17th of March with Madeline Chan, international award-winning singer-songwriter, and she is the queen of heart-centric living. So she and I are actually in the process, we're going to be starting next week, of writing a song together and performing it together, which is really cool because she's won all kinds of awards as a professional singer. So that's coming up the 17th. And then my last announcement is the Power of Listening foundational courses. We're offering that on the 10th. This is a great opportunity for you to learn elevated listening skills and become a team member here at USA Global TV and Radio. What does that mean? I am the listening mentor. I teach people how to listen at an elevated level. So you can take these foundational courses, which I put into one course, The Power of Listening, and it's 2 hours and 45 minutes. You will be able to interact with other people. There are live role plays. And at the end, you'll be given a 7-question quiz. When you pass the quiz with 100%, you become a certified elevated listener and you become a team member here at USA Global TV. You have your picture and your certificate up on my other website, drjacalyn.com. And you also get invited to our TV show, The Listening Mentor. But wait, there's more. My third book that I'm working on now with another author, Mariska Duprier in New Zealand, is part of a series of children's books. And we are giving people the opportunity to apply to be a cast member, an animal, in our books. So if you're interested, you must be an elevated listener first, and then you get to pick and design your own character. What does that animal look like? I was going back and forth about which animal I was going to be, and I decided on one. I can't announce it because it's part of the whole book, but it's not something I ever thought that I would pick. And it just, I don't know, the universe spoke to me. So my role in the books is to be the listening mentor and to help guide the other animals to be effective listeners. So if you're interested in that, all you have to do is sign up for this course, and I'll put the link here for you to see. All right, that's all we have for today. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for being here. We'll see you again on Monday. Bye for now.